Hi, buddy, Russ and the West Ham Network. It's because Stell might come on. That's why I've got the curse of Stell. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon, and become a member maybe as well. Join the membership program. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss any content that comes on. As always, I'd like to thank all our lovely channel sponsors, channel partners, or our members or our subscribers. You guys are watching. You make the shows, not us. So we thought we'd do something a bit different today. Rather than blast you with more transfer news, obviously we're playing a game tonight, so I thought we'd do a match day lunchtime. And so I'm not going to do it on my own. We're going to bring in Mr. Anton. There he is. Hello.
Come on, you Irons!
Irons.
Yes, Premier League football was back.
Indeed. We may even be joined by the lesser spotted Steliarkos as well. So
Absolutely. Big game though. Big game tonight, isn't it?
Massive game tonight. Massive for a few reasons. I was thinking about it. Looking at the table. I mean, it's not just today and Sunday. Huge for us, isn't it? Because 6 points on the board. We've got. I mean, you look at that our mini league of us, which is really weird to still say us, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Man United.
Yeah.
Us in that mini league for the full spot. It can make a real difference. These two games, playing two of the bottom five teams as well, few goals on the board, goal difference, all that type of thing. And particularly also because Arsenal and Tottenham play each other, aren't they, on the weekend as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We done the preview last night, and Matt was scathing of his approach on Norwich. I mean, he never held back at all. He was, but his opinion came from a good kind of reasoning behind it. I think his frustration at looking at football teams who just accept their position. However, their position works for them because they are a sustainable football club. So they choose to invest to the level they want to invest. They choose not to invest to a higher level. That then maybe throws them into that kind of yo-yo up and down every single year, which has been quite consistent between clubs like Norwich, and he mentioned West Brom, and now you're looking at clubs like Fulham and Bournemouth potentially doing the same.
Burnley as well. They were very much a yo-yo side for a few years, weren't they?
But they make it work for them. So I was kind of winding him up last night, and he was saying it was a scathing attack against Norwich. And I'm always worried when we sit there and maybe disrespect the opposition. But I don't think Moyes disrespects the opposition. I don't doubt for a second he knows that they have massive problems at Norwich City. But the thing, I know we're going to go into that in a minute, but going back to your point, the next two games, if you think about this, Russ, 3 or 4 games ago, we were 7 points from Arsenal. Now they have got games in hand on us. I know that. No, they don't. Sorry, they don't.
They'll have one game. They'll have one game in hand, won't they? As of tonight.
But 4 games ago they were 7 points ahead, and now they're only a point ahead. So that shows you where West Ham are at. It's like never say die attitude. It's consistently pushing forward. Now we could take these next couple of games, and if we win, which would be amazing and huge, it would mean that other teams have got sometimes 2 or 3 games in hand on us. But I would rather the points on the table than have games in hand.
And that's what they always say, isn't it? That's what they always say. It's always the points in hand. You could have, you never know what side. I mean, at the moment, it's even more unpredictable having games in hand because, Christ, you could lose half your team with COVID. And so it is about getting the points in the bag. And I think at the moment there's so many. We just don't know. Having those points, come the end of the season where maybe more games having to be played and I'm cool for getting this rearranged game. I know Moyes was a bit about it in his post press conference after the match on Sunday, but I think it's good to get it out of the way because you never know what's. I mean, look at Newcastle. Say Newcastle. We had a game postponed with them. Come the end of January, they could have a completely new team. And who says Norwich won't spend a little bit of money to get in? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's what Moyes obviously said. He's a bit disappointed at how we were one of the first rearranged games, and we've turned up for every single game, done what I've been asked to do. We've never postponed the game; it's never come from our fault. But I think there's probably another element from David Moyes that's going kind of bring them on. kind of bring them on right now. You know, we've won 3 in a row, 2 in the Premier League, 1 in the FA Cup against Premier League opposition, and you know, let's get them in and let's get the points on the board. Now, it doesn't mean there's no God-given right that we're going to walk into the game tonight and walk into the game on Sunday and get the points. It doesn't matter if Norwich are struggling to the level they are. 8 goals they've scored this season. I didn't realise how many, not many goals they had scored. I didn't realise it was that low. I did not know. I knew it was low. I didn't realise it was that low.
It's low, yeah.
But yeah, 8 goals they've scored this season, Russ. But again, is this us as West Ham fans thinking the old West Ham will creep in? Because the new West Ham should look at this game confidently and go, yeah, we can turn up. If we're there on our day, we can turn up and do a job on them.
Yeah, it's true. And I think it's also one of those games where I think it's the old, and again, we always talk about the old West Ham and the new West Ham now. The old West Ham, we'd be shitting ourselves because we're playing bottom of the league. They haven't, Matt said the thing and then went, oh, you jinxed us now. Yeah, they've lost the last 5 in form in terms of Premier League games. But the old West Ham would probably have, this is a different team. And for me, it's like, they've conceded 42 goals this season, minus 34 goal difference. You've got to be looking at and fancying us to put 3-4 past them. You know what I mean? It's like we should be. These are the games which we need to get points on the board for sure, but we need to kill off and get 3 or 4 goals, because coming into the season, our little mini league, it's going to come to goals difference. It's so tight. It's going to be so tight towards the end of the season that it's these games we go, right, if only we'd scored 2 more goals in that way. Last year we were fortunate in, because of the goal difference and stuff like that. We went into that Southampton game at the end of the season, basically only needing to basically guarantee, but the goal difference was so big. So again, it's another point, in essence, a good goal difference. And, we're ahead with Arsenal on goal difference. We're ahead of Spurs and Man United on goal difference. So by quite some way. So I think it's absolutely crucial for us. Absolutely crucial for us. And actually,
and that's why you what?
We're the 4th highest scorers in the Premier League.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing. I said it the other day, because I think we had a couple of people in the chat that were saying, we've never replaced Haller since Haller's gone. No, we've not.
Yeah.
But we have now found a system that works for the club. And even then, when we hit the blip, there was a lot of people going, well, everyone else is clocked onto our system. But then when they clocked onto our system, we then went and won, 2 games on the bout, or 3 games on the bout if you include the FA Cup. Yep. So, it's about putting faith in what Moyes is doing with this squad and this team. And since Haller has gone, we are the 4th best scoring team in the calendar year in the Premier League. So that's without a replacement for Chicharito and Haller. Now, yes, I'm on the bandwagon that I want a striker, but I don't want a striker to the detriment of how we're doing. I don't want to accept that. I don't, and that's why I can see. I mean, I don't know why people constantly. I don't want to have a chat about the board in, board out, all that sort of stuff. But Moyes consistently says it himself from his own mouth, from the horse's mouth. Yes, I am interested in the market, but it's not easy, and I'm not going to get anyone for the sake of it. He says it himself.
Yeah. And it's funny when it's like Antonio on his podcast the other day said basically he wants a striker in the club.
Yeah.
He wants someone to compete with. And I get that. I do get that. But it's got to be the right person, And that's like, I mean, we as fans, we cover the transfer rumors and all that type of stuff. And, you sort of read once you look at people, you can discount them usually by age, but now it's usually by personality as well.
Yeah. 100%.
Because so it's not, it's everyone says, oh, we want to need if we get a striker who takes, takes the wheels off the cart or the apple cart or whatever, like that, whatever that expression is, that's pointless, absolutely pointless for us at the moment. And I just think that, maybe Antonio will grab 4 goals. I mean, do you think he'll start today? Do you think? I mean, that's an interesting point what you said the other day. So about the team, but about the team lineup for tonight, because I think with 2 games so close to each other, what does Moyes do? What does Moyes do?
That's the interesting point. It's like how does he visualize the game tonight? But I think we know how he visualizes the game tonight. I think he puts out his strongest 11. But what like, are we saying that he sees Fabianski as the better goalkeeper than Areola? I don't think he sees that. I think he thinks I've got two very good goalkeepers. I've got a lot of games to play, and I'll play both of them in this scenario. It's the only thing I can think of. And if there was ever going to be a game that he was going to change the Premier League goalkeeper, I could see tonight being the game, because we have a quick succession game coming up. But if Areola plays tonight and has an unbelievable game, does that mean Fabianski's rested for Leeds? That's what then throws me back to going, Fabianski starts. So because we've got quick succession, FA Cup, Areola played well. Fabianski could be questioned on some of the decisions he made in the last couple of games. I understand what Matt's saying. I understand what some fans are saying in terms of his commanding ability in the middle of the box. I understand that, but if there was ever going to be a game in the Premier League that Moyes would change it, it would be tonight. But I don't think he will, and I think he'll still stick with Fabianski.
So it's obviously Fabianski in goal. Okay, no, I agree with you. We'll agree if still comes on and wants Areola in goal, just because it makes things easier, because I've already put him in the team. So, but I mean, there is talk of Soufal being back, and obviously the whole thing with the COVID, and apparently it was Zuma and Ashby and Soufal had COVID. Well, who knows? Because Ashby played yesterday and played bloody well yesterday for the under-23. So, so potentially, right back, is it Soufal if he's fit? Is it Soufal or is it Fredericks?
I mean, if Soufal is fit, then I don't see why you don't play him. To be honest, I think it's if as long as he's fit, then you play him. The thing is with Soufal, is that he is such an engine, and he is such a he's extremely fit that he can obviously play games after game. So for me, it's a no-brainer that he plays if he is back, which the rumor is that he is. So,
but for me, I mean, for someone like him, for example, you've got to think. I mean, I'm looking at the two games in very quick succession. Potentially, say the Leeds game, the team that played on Sunday against us will be different. Rafinha will probably be starting. Bamford will be probably on the bench, I think, as well. So, if Soufal just come back from COVID or whatever he's got, if he's ill or whatever, would two games suit? For me personally, I think Fredericks played. I personally would like to go out completely all out attack tonight. It won't happen, but for me, I'd love Fredericks on the right with Bowen, just having a go at Norwich, just really, full pelt. But I know what you mean about the whole thing, and maybe
but the point I'm making there is that's how we sometimes see it.
Yeah.
But how many times do we sit here, do these shows, and go, I think he should do it, and then we turn up and look at the game and he doesn't do it.
Well, I think the only you can be sure about is the centre back partnership, really, because we haven't got any other centre backs. I mean, he did say obviously they reckon that Cresswell is on the grass and has been on the grass for a few days.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll start today. I don't think
there's any need for
again.
Cresswell.
I could see him starting on Sunday potentially because of Rafinha. He's a good player, and he's and although he hasn't got the pace, he's got the know-how, and I think midfield may change slightly as well in terms of the front three.
But in terms of if Cresswell, I don't think Cresswell will start tonight. But if let's say Johnson plays left back tonight and plays well, then why would he be rested for the game on Sunday? Because I get what you're saying, the point of it's Rafinha and he'll have a bit more experience, but he's just come back from what has been a long-term injury. So that's a big, to be thrown into the, Moyes has got a history of not really throwing these players in, like maybe just bedding them in a little bit,
Maybe it could be Ben Johnson plays right back for against Leeds, and then he goes back to his normal, because where I prefer him at the right back. To be honest, he was the first choice right back until everything's happened in the last few games, and he's had to play left back because of Cresswell being out. So maybe he goes back to his traditional back four of Cresswell, the two central defenders, and then Johnson the right. I don't know. What do you think, Stel?
Sorry, I was falling asleep in the background there, just listening to the nonsense that you two are coming out with. You know, if you were in goal, Anton as a centre back and me as a holding midfielder, we'd still beat Norwich tonight by 4 goals.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Honestly,
Okay.
tonight
We'll clip
tonight is a game where even if I don't think Soufal will be back for this.
No, okay.
I think Johnson will. I think Fredericks will start again. He had a really good game at the weekend, and I think he'll start again because that way then you've got the option of Soufal and Johnson for the weekend, and I think that's what will be on Moyes' mind. But you're absolutely right. The two centre backs, we've got no choice unless Moyes really goes for it and puts someone like Alese in, which he won't do.
No.
I'd actually still like to see Areola tonight because I think this
would.
game is a game where he will finally get a start in goal in the Premier League and again save Fabianski for the weekend. But you don't need to save keepers, do you, as much as you need to save your defenders and your strikers
but then the rescue run though still, and this is what I was saying to Russ, like if you do play Areola tonight and West Ham have a top day and Areola has a top performance, he's not going to drop him for the weekend's game. And that's my only.
He will.
I don't think because again, like I think I understand the sentiment behind why Areola would start tonight.
Yep.
But to me,
he won't start. He won't start him.
No, but to me, you and Russ, we understand it. But to Moyes, he doesn't, because Moyes' history is, well, in my opinion, Fabianski, maybe he's not been as commanding, but you know, he has still been a good goalkeeper. He has saved us a couple of times, you know.
The good thing is either keeper can do a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's not
and how long has it been since we've said that? Not since the days of Adrian
and Randolph.
Adrian and Randolph, yeah, true.
Jaskalainen.
Jaskalainen was solid, wasn't he?
Yeah, but it's the backup, isn't it? Whereas Randolph and as I said, Randolph and Adrian, they were both vying for that number 1 jersey, weren't they? Really? I know it's. I mean, today we're very much a step up of where we were from then. You know, no disrespect to either man. So much so, it looks like Moyes doesn't want him to go to Villa now. Randolph, he wants to offer him a new contract. Apparently.
Oh,
he loves him so much. Right now, obviously, you know the chances are that Mr. Rice is playing, but there are rumours, and I know we all love rumours.
Souček.
That Souček's got an illness, hasn't been confirmed.
So we said that on the preview last night. I seen a message come through last night. I won't name the name, but the rumor was that he does. Now, Souček has been active on his social media this morning and posted his usual post, which is
whether it's him or whether it's his team, we don't know. Yeah.
But I would have thought that if he was going to miss it, in the message he would have put, "Can't make the game tonight, all the best tonight." I don't know if I'm right or wrong in that.
No, he wouldn't do that. I don't think Moyes would allow his players to do that.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
I don't think sometimes still, don't you? Sometimes.
Well, normally I speak more sense than you do, mate, which is why you begged me to come on at lunchtime, even though I was working. So there you go.
We all work at lunch. Right. So, here's a good question. Right. Okay. And I think this will determine how Moyes sees today. If Rice is out, if Souček is out, who plays? Is it Noble or
you've got to give Kral you've got to give Kral a chance, haven't you?
No,
this is the game. This is the game where you could start. I mean, Norwich is so poor. You know, I mean, they are. Even at the weekend, they struggled. But it's true. Even at the weekend, they struggled. This is the type of game where you can go, let's see what Alex Kral can do in the Premier League. He won't do it, he will start Noble. But it's the sort of game where you think, let's see what the man can do. Let's see what Kral can do in order to see if he can cement his place or stake a claim in this first team. But he won't do that. Noble will start tonight. You can see.
Yeah, it's a shame because I mean, personally, obviously, I would love him to have played because I mean, even at his post-match when Rob interviewed Lanzini on the pitch at the end of the game on Sunday, he was saying that you know, obviously you're playing the 10 role, and he says, and Lanzini came out and said, "Look, I like playing the deep role as well." You know, I liked making things happen from the back. Now, obviously, that would, you know, again, he played that game against Burnley, didn't he? When he played that sort of deep lying central midfield role, but he's not now. He's a 10 now. I mean, personally, I'd even throw Fornals in there today because I think, you know, we've got an opportunity now to really put some points and the goals on the board. Get some points.
You're right, but for me,
when
it comes to Lanzini, you know, the guy's kind of back. You could say performing to his best. I mean, he is literally dictating the creativity in that team, and he's not just creating; he's allowing other players to be as creative. Now, if you want to go and get goals tonight, you need to play to the strength of your probably your most creative players, i.e., the Lanzinis and the Bowens of the world, and that's why I think Lanzini is going to sit in the hole again. Because right now he is firing on all cylinders. Like he really can't. He really isn't. He's not really putting a foot wrong. And even when he's not touching the ball, look at his amount of. I'd love to see his heat map. I don't know where you can find them, but I'd love to see his heat map because I bet you his heat map is just phenomenal. The amount of ground he covers as well.
Bowen on the right, then.
Yeah.
I
like
think
left. Okay, right. Okay, the left side.
Hold on. No, but Bowen tonight for me is. I mean, he's got the potential to have the game of his life.
Yeah.
Let's throw a curveball in. Let's put Bowen up front. Fornals on the right, and Vlasic on the left.
See, I think this is more likely to be the Leeds formation, I reckon. But I don't know. You could be right.
Well. Don't forget you got Antonio to throw in there, so he'll play Antonio against Leeds.
Yeah,
which means
don't know why you wouldn't play Antonio against Norwich. I just don't know why. I know what you're saying.
I mean, I know exactly
because that lineup there will probably get you 3 goals tonight. That lineup there without Antonio, save his legs, legs.
Still, we've been saying that since August. And we're now on the 12th of bloody July.
Mate, we've been saying that.
No, I know, but the guy's been traveling all over the world playing for Jamaica.
Yeah, and look how poor he was when he came back from his last international stint. And it took him about half a dozen games. It took him about half a dozen games to get back into it. You know. And
I was watching.
I know he ain't. But...
I was watching someone talking about obviously everything around the Antonio getting the contracts, and it'll been very quiet. And obviously, as tends to happen when someone gets offered a new contract, they then play really shit. Yeah. He played really shit a few weeks ago, you know, for like 6-7 weeks ago. And apparently he signed a new contract 6 or 7 weeks ago. So it's worked, you know. So, but I know what you mean. I mean, personally, I'd like to see Antonio maybe given a rest, but I think he'll probably go with almost identically the side that played against Leeds. Apart from obviously Fabianski, I'd put Bowen in there and see we can do this now. It's all clever, isn't it? And Antonio up front, and that will get you 3-0. 3-0.
That's a good point. What about giving Bowen a little rest?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but again, you're right. But Moyes again he spoke up about him in the press conference. He says that he's like one of the only players that can play every day, not just twice a week.
He bigged up Fabianski for the game for the FA Cup game, and then he weren't even on the bench.
No, I know.
But, you know, so what Moyes says, Moyes is a tactician. He's a bit of a crafty. I would have said Cockney, but he's Scottish like you, Anton. But you know, he says one thing and then he does something. You know, he bigged up Fabianski. I might start him, etc. And then he turned around and went.
That was him. Having a little messy.
But it's the same as when he does his Europa League and they bring a player into and they never bloody start them. You know, it's always the same thing. I mean, he's been very coy. I mean, obviously we don't know, you know, who had COVID, if anyone had COVID. We don't know who's injured. We don't know who. Some people may have got a knock maybe from not maybe Antonio, the way he was running around like a bull in a china shop. Sometimes I wouldn't be surprised if he took a knock, especially on his foot in the first half and we all shit ourselves when he was holding his ankle. I mean, you know, but personally, I'd like to see us comfortable by half time and then get the old boy up, Okaflex, get him on.
Yeah, he's got to play. But he played on Monday night.
He did, yeah.
For the under-20. He played a full game, and yet another good game. So he might only make the bench tonight. But Vinay's right. I think we should give Yarmolenko a rest. Vinay.
He didn't even do
Yarmolenko stepped on and then stepped off.
Yeah.
And
literally.
you can see how fucking knackered he was afterwards, mate. It was like unbelievable.
But the thing is, though, when it comes to Jared Bowen, like, I don't think he needs a rest. I don't think he does. I mean, if you want to try and win a game, you need to put your best team on the field. And we can't turn up here, as much as we know the history of what Norwich have been like over the Premier League and what they have been recently. They've only got 8 goals. They've conceded 40 odd goals. You need to get your strongest team out there to win and to try and get the job done. And fair play to Vlasic, like, he's worked himself into the team. He's worked hard.
I just think the only change possible is Fornals needing game time might start tonight. That's maybe is what, because he's been out for a few weeks and he needs to get a bit more match fit. He might come on during the game rather than start.
But then the other thing to that would be, would you, again, it's about not disrespecting your opposition, but if you're going to play Vlasic, you would want him to play probably in the game tonight. You're not
weakening. Yeah,
no,
you're not weakening the team with Fornals coming in.
But it's not weakening the team. You've got a player who knows the Premier League a lot more than Vlasic. So if you're looking at the experience, then you would, if Vlasic doesn't have a good game tonight, then there's a justification why Fornals comes into the team against Leeds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think he'll because Vlasic is on this sort of run of form at the moment. It would make sense to keep playing him, and I think for Leeds, I think in the Norwich game I can see him definitely starting. I think for the Leeds next week, maybe not. But we're just mere amateurs.
We are, and we have a professional in the background that will be able to tell us far more than.
Let's ask a professional. Let's get rid of that. Let's ask a professional, somebody who knows the game. Obviously, he's played for both sides.
You need to kick Anton off then.
How you doing, Matt?
How are we doing? Sorry,
I'm doing well, man.
My daughter down. So
what? Oh, to sleep.
I just put my daughter. Yeah. So
I say it's a bit of a confession otherwise.
How are you? All good?
Yeah,
we're
not
good,
bad,
mate.
man.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah.
Obviously, you played for both sides, for Norwich and West Ham. So you have somewhat of a foot in both camps today. What do you think, mate? What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Well, realistically, it looks like it's going to be a West Ham win. Norwich are struggling at the moment. Scoring goals, conceding goals. Just doesn't seem at the moment that it's working for them. I thought, Dean Smith, when he come in, I thought, you get that instant impact of a manager, and they had that, but it's hard. Staying in the Premier League is really difficult, especially when you're not scoring goals and you're conceding so many. So they've given it a good go in the fact that in the summer, like the previous time they came up, they didn't really spend anything, and they used all of the players that got them there, which they were exciting. Everyone enjoyed watching them. They just unfortunately for them, they conceded far too many goals. Whereas this time what they've done is they've spent in the transfer market. But unfortunately, for me personally, it doesn't seem to be the sort of maybe the correct players. They're not really got players that have come in that have played in the league before, and I think they got rid of a few of the players that sort of played in the Championship that got them up. And I think it's a difficult one to put your finger on it. But whereas the complete contrast at West Ham, it's a squad of players that is consistently playing well. He doesn't really like to rotate that much, which is fair enough. If I was playing in that team, I wouldn't want to rotate either. But it looks solid. Everyone looks like they're happy, which is a massive part of it. And they're all playing, at least a 7 or 8 out of 10 every week, which consistently is huge. And unfortunately for Norwich, I think that West Ham it'll be a comfortable win.
Yeah,
Matt, can I ask a question? I'd done a preview show with one of the guys, another Matt on the channel, and he was kind of talking about the Norwich situation, and he was saying that they've become accustomed to up down, but that's how they can kind of run as a club. Financially, it makes them self-sustainable. They've kind of come to the conclusion that if they invest enough, they can try to beat that drop. But if they don't, they go down. But they've got enough in their squad that keeps them promoting themselves to the Premier League. Is that, is that kind of where they are at as a team?
I would have said in the past, yes. I think that's shown. I think whenever they've been promoted, they've not really gone for it and spent loads. And it's hard, finding the right players to come in as well. That's always a difficult one. But I feel like this season they've sort of given it a go. They've spent a lot of money. They've brought in a lot of players. And I think that they thought that would be, this was their time to sort of stay in the league. They find themselves in a difficult position now, which now's the time where, like for instance, Newcastle, they're going out and spending and buying players, whereas you're looking at everyone's sort of saying that there's no transfer budget for the January window, which it shows that realistically, that's what they're thinking. That unfortunately, if the worst comes to worst and they do get relegated, they've spent all of their money and they're going to have to either sell some players in the summer and then sort of challenge again to get back up.
Yeah. That makes a point.
Obviously, I was about to say, obviously, Matt, West Ham played on Sunday, and then we're playing on Wednesday or today. Obviously, then we're playing next Sunday. So the games are coming quite thick and fast, all at home, which is great. As a player, did you enjoy? Obviously, we just come out of the Christmas period of all the congestion, all the games, boxing. Did you like that period when you're playing games all the time, or did you like that sort of, obviously you won't be training as much. What did you prefer? Did you play one game a week, or that sort of crazy period over Christmas where you play every other day? It seems.
To be honest, players like to play games. There's no short about that. I loved it. Loved Christmas. It was my first Christmas actually not playing this year.
It would have been,
It felt weird. It felt weird. But you prefer to just play matches rather than training every day. It's with this, don't get me wrong, there is a time and place. You have the Christmas period in it, and it's you like to have a little bit of a rest and have a couple of days off, but it's not to be the case for West Ham. They're going to have to keep going. But the thing is, they have got a good squad. They don't like to rotate, and as I said before, you don't really want to, as a player, to come out and come back in. You like to stay consistent. That's a big thing. Plus, you don't know who comes in and they do well, and then you're out of the team again. That's the other thing.
That's the question I was going to ask. The interesting thing is, because we now have even though it's a small squad, it's a decent squad, and people in the chat are saying play your best 11 or your strongest 11. We're kind of in the position now. I mean, all right, in defence we're limited, but when it comes to sort of attacking midfield, etc., we do have options, don't we? So, for you, I mean, seeing West Ham this season, who's been your standout in terms of attacking midfield? Who would you select out of the players that we've got available?
There's been loads of standout players, but for me, Bowen. I really like the way he plays. I think he's first and foremost, he's what West Ham fans want. He works hard for the team. He does endless running. He gets forward, he gets back, but his quality is improved. He's scoring goals. He's getting assists, and for me, I'd put Bowen as my standout player.
Yeah.
What about Lanzini, who has come good again? And there was a real concern after the injuries that he's had. He's kind of maybe a bit of a, don't want to say it, bit of a busted flush in a way. And there were fans suggesting that maybe he ought to move on to a league that might suit him more, like the Italian league or Spanish league. But I mean, he's come back with aplomb, hasn't he?
Yeah, honestly, when I was there when he first came, you're just like, this guy's a genius. He was just kept the ball so intricate, left and right, taking players on. It was great. So to see him get the injury was gutting. But yes, you can see the moments now that he's getting back to himself, and he's obviously scoring goals and getting assists is all part of it, because everyone uses stats and statistics about everything these days. So for him to get back on the, scoring goals, getting assists, it just magnifies everything. So I'm really pleased for him, and obviously like every other West Ham fan.
Matt, another question then. Last time out, the two clubs met, West Ham won it 4-0 in the Premier League. Antonio bagged himself 4 goals. Is it, and kind of, is there a mindset when a player like Antonio, who has been sometimes questioned on what he's been up to over the last couple of games, but is still performing and still scoring goals, and is now, you know, West Ham's all-time Premier League goal scorer. Is there a kind of, with 2 consecutive games coming up, is there any way that you would consider resting your best strike or your main man?
Your only striker.
Only striker.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. For me, no. Like Antonio, for himself, yes, you know, if he doesn't score, what he does for the team is huge. You know, his hold-up play, his running the channel, he occupies 2, potentially if there's a back 3, you know, 3 centre-halves all on his own. He's such a huge player for West Ham. So if he doesn't score, he does so much else. But if you're a striker and you know you've just scored 4 against them, and you want to play, you want to score, you want to be getting the goals for yourself, and this is an opportunity for him to get back on the goal scoring hunt and to play, you know, another game, and you know, just getting a contract sorted. This is the time for him to be playing, and I'm sure he'll be desperate to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no,
that's I've got to jump. I've got to jump off because I've got to go back to work. So I'm going to thank God Matt Jarvis is on, because I mean, honestly, Matt, listening to these two talk about football it's just unbearable. So you saved the day, mate.
Right, go on, piss off, Steve. Thank you, Matt. What's the score going to be tonight? More importantly, I know you're doing Sky Sports later on. What's the score going to be tonight?
What's the score? I'm going to go, but I'm not 3. You know, I just think, especially in the London Antonio, I just think it's sort of a game. I just think the will go like 1 long period, and then 2 sucker punches at the end for Norwich, and I think it'll be a 3-0 game.
3-0, yeah. And you doing Sky Sports? Is it Sky Sports doing today?
Sky Sports News, yeah. So you'll see me on there.
Matt, can I ask
looking all right.
Can I ask another question that's actually come from one of the viewers here? Can you ask Matt, please, what do players think about moaning managers who complain that there are too many matches over Christmas? What's your kind of, you know, as someone who's been in the sport, obviously, and is in the sport, with the amount of games that are coming up over a short period, I mean, as the kind of modern day athlete and as the fans that watch in, are people right to moan? Should we respect the athlete that is going through the motions of the game?
Look, that's a difficult question, because part of it, I think managers are saying this to sort of either create something, or you know, it's not actually about the games. They're trying to, you know, put something else, you know, shadow over something else. But at the same time, the game has moved on. You know, the players are such athletes now. They're all fine-tuned. So with the pandemic and everything, the games have come thick and fast, and you've seen so many injuries, and that's all because of overplaying and the games that come thick and fast. So there's an argument for both. But for me personally, you just love playing games. And over that Christmas period where there's so many, it was not the fun of it, but it was, you know, get through that game. You've got to rest. You've got to recover. There's not really time to do any training. You're back out on the pitch to do the games. And that's just the way it's been. You know, I played for 18, 19 seasons. That's just the way it's been. Yeah. So you just get used to it. And it's part and parcel of playing professional football. And that's the schedule. But to a degree, with what's happened with games being postponed, everything, and the fixtures do come thick and fast, you do need to protect the players nowadays, because they, as I said, the game's improved and it's changed. There's so much that high intensity work that goes into these games, so it will take its toll, and that's why you're seeing a lot of players getting injured.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Right, Matt. Pleasure as always, my friend. There's loads of questions, so we'll get you on properly and do a proper question, because loads of people want to ask you questions. Cool. Yes, but I really appreciate you jumping on, man, and have fun tonight. Have fun at Sky Sports News.
Thank you very much. While I've got my daughter's asleep, I'm going to quickly
do some reading.
I then go to work this evening.
Just a quick, how old's your daughter, Matt?
She's 22 months.
All right, cool, excellent. I've got a 2-month-old just now as well, but I've also got 2 above him, so I know how you feel. Okay. I know the sleepless nights. So
Yeah, that's it. That's it. The other one's at school, so at least I got a breather there.
Easy, isn't it? When they're at school, it's easy. When they're at school, it's easy. You don't have to
Yeah.
pack the bag. You can get out in about 10 minutes. You don't have to have a bag, 27
I know.
changes of clothes. Anyway, this is moving on from a football podcast.
Yeah,
It's talking
I've
about
got a little bit more
fatherhood
time,
podcast.
unfortunately.
Well, then, mate, take care, buddy. Cheers,
Cheers,
Matt.
Take it easy.
Cool.
I'll kick you out
See you
there,
later.
man.
Thank you, mate.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
man. Well, there we go. You see, that's why people have got to tune into every show, because you don't know who's going to turn up. You don't know who's going to turn up. You don't know who Russie B or Anton or Stell's going to conjure up. Matty Jarvis, absolute lovely bloke as always. Lovely bloke.
What a lovely gentleman.
He's a lovely gentleman. He's got a lovely seat. I love his chair, his throne chair. It's Wolves orange, though. It's more like Wolves colour than the claret and blue one.
Look at this though. Look, I was busy, DJ Russie B. Look.
Wow, that's quick, isn't it?
Look at that.
Jesus. Look
You
at
can
that.
change
That's
it.
quick.
You can change it, but I thought let's let
keep that
people
one.
know.
Show it again, just to show Stell looking really interested by the conversation, and me and you. Matt is obviously. But anyway,
really cool,
so we've
really
got a 3-0. Have you kicked your nan out of that chair? It's a lovely chair. It's his Zoom chair. When Matt does his all those meetings, he's always in that chair. He's got it.
That's a nice chair.
Joan's happy now, which is good as well. So I'm glad Joan's happy. Anyway, guys, what time is it watch along? What's happening tonight? It'll be on sometime.
6:45 to 7 o'clock. I'm definitely going to go on earlier. I'm not going to hold off with the norm, and hopefully we will have a timer for anyone that is watching.
Yeah.
And yeah, so make sure you do tune in for that. And hopefully we will be. Anton is morphing into Grizzly Adams. That's because Anton can't get a bloody appointment at the hairdressers, and I'm trying to get a bloody appointment at the hairdressers so I can trim this up a bit.
Really?
Get myself sorted, but it's booked in for tomorrow, so hopefully I've got that sorted. But 6:45 to 7 o'clock we'll be on.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm hopefully going to be coming back to some games soon now that the little man is a little bit more settled. So
very good.
Yeah,
very
starting
good.
With Man United, hopefully. So
yeah, when if you go to Man United, I'll be able to do the watch along for that as well. So it's all be good. Right, okay, guys. Well, anyway, if you like, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe, all that good stuff. Become a channel member. As always, we'd like to thank all our channel members. We do it at the end of each show. So take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Make sure you hit the bell icon if you're not going tonight to watch along with Anton. He's done some graphics. He's done some nice graphics. We'll see if it works.
So you.
Well, yeah.
You've tweaked them.
I
done it, and then you're like, "Can I change it?" And I went up.
I tweaked them. But anyway, so with a timer, so we'll see if that works. Like, we tried the timer last game, it worked. Last watch along I did, so we'll see if it works again. If you see Stel walking around tonight, make sure you get a selfie with him and tag us at the West Ham Network on Twitter. And after the game, I'll probably be walking around outside the ground. So let us say hello, and we'll try and do a little live thing from outside the ground after the game. 4G pending. So take care, everyone. Stay safe. Love you. Bye bye.